Amen, 1986 to 1991, was a beloved sitcom that brought laughter, heart, and unforgettable characters to television screens. The show's talented cast helped make it a fan favorite, but sadly, time has taken its toll, and many of these cherished actors are no longer with us. In this video, we honor 40 actors from Amen who have tragically passed away. Some left us far too soon, while others faced long battles with illness, yet their performances continue to bring joy to audiences today. Join us as we celebrate their lives, their careers, and the incredible legacy they left behind. Sherman Hemsley played Deacon Ernest Fry in Amen, 1986, at the age of 48, portraying the conniving yet lovable church deacon whose schemes often led to comedic chaos. While Amen and the Jeffersons cemented his place in television history, his career was haunted by typecasting, making it difficult to secure serious roles. Despite his fame, his personal life was shrouded in secrecy. He never married or had children, and speculation about his sexuality led to relentless gossip. Hemsley lived a reclusive life, retreating from Hollywood in his later years, and suffered from financial troubles despite his success. As he aged, his health deteriorated rapidly, and he was diagnosed with lung cancer. Tragically, he died alone in his El Paso home on July 24, 2012, at the age of 74 due to superior vena cava syndrome, a condition that causes severe heart failure. Adding to the sadness, after his death, a bitter legal battle over his estate ensued, as several individuals claimed to be his rightful heirs, prolonging his final peace. LaWanda Page joined Amen in 1991 at the age of 71, bringing her signature wit and sharp-tongued humor to the role of Darla. A pioneer in comedy, Page had spent decades fighting for her place in the male-dominated industry, often facing discrimination and financial hardship. Her biggest success came with Sanford and Son, but after the show ended, she struggled to find stable work. Her personal life was equally tumultuous. She married multiple times, though none of the relationships lasted. She had one daughter, Clara, but their relationship was strained, as Page's career often kept her away. Page's health deteriorated rapidly in the late 1990s as she developed diabetes, which led to a series of complications. She lost mobility and spent her final years in pain and isolation. She passed away on September 14, 2002, at the age of 81. Despite her trailblazing work in comedy, she left the world with little recognition, and her death received only brief media coverage. Jester Hairston portrayed Raleigh Forbes in Amen, 1986, at the age of 85, bringing warmth and wisdom to the role of the church's gentle elder. A prolific composer and actor, he was one of the first black performers to break barriers in Hollywood, yet his career was riddled with indignities. Often forced into stereotypical roles, he struggled for respect despite his immense talent. Though he married, he and his wife never had children, and his later years were marked by solitude. His contributions to music were widely unrecognized in his lifetime, despite composing spirituals that would become iconic. In his old age, he suffered from progressive dementia, which left him confused and withdrawn. By the time he passed away on January 18, 2000, at the age of 98 due to natural causes, he had faded into obscurity, his legacy largely overlooked by an industry he had fought so hard to change. Elsa Raven played Ingle in Amen, 1988, at the age of 59, portraying the sharp-witted housekeeper whose no-nonsense demeanor brought order to the chaos around her. Though she had memorable roles in Back to the Future and Titanic, she remained a character actress, never achieving true stardom despite her undeniable talent. A fiercely independent woman, she never married and struggled with the reality of growing older without a family of her own. She longed for children but was unable to have any, a sorrow that weighed heavily on her throughout her life. As she aged, she found herself pushed out of Hollywood, with roles becoming scarcer and the industry seemingly forgetting her. Her final years were spent in relative obscurity, living alone with only a few close friends checking in on her. Her health declined gradually, and she eventually passed away on November 2, 2020, at the age of 91 due to natural causes. Ron Glass played Jason Lockwood in Amen, beginning in 1989 at the age of 44. His character, a suave and articulate man, reflected Glass's real-life charisma and intelligence. Despite his polished image, Glass faced profound struggles throughout his career. While he gained recognition for Barney Miller and later Firefly, he often felt undervalued in Hollywood, watching less talented peers surpass him. His personal life was shrouded in mystery. He never married nor had children, and rumors persisted that he led a life of deep solitude. Glass reportedly battled long bouts of depression, exacerbated by the industry's lack of roles for aging black actors. In his later years, he suffered from severe respiratory issues, likely worsened by years of smoking. On November 25, 2016, he succumbed to respiratory failure at the age of 71. His passing was quiet, much like the lonely life he had led away from the cameras. Rosetta LeNoire played Leola Forbes in Amen, 1987, at the age of 76, portraying the kind and loving wife of Raleigh Forbes, always offering warmth and wisdom. Off-screen, her life was a testament to resilience. Stricken with polio as a child, she was left with a permanent limp, but that did not stop her from pursuing a career in entertainment. Though she married, her relationship was fraught with difficulties, and she eventually divorced, dedicating herself to her career and civil rights activism instead. She founded Alma's Repertory Theater, an institution dedicated to providing opportunities for marginalized actors, but despite her groundbreaking work, she often struggled financially. Throughout her later years, she suffered from diabetes, a disease that slowly deteriorated her health. By the time of her passing on March 17, 2002, at the age of 90 due to complications from diabetes. James Avery portrayed Reverend Tom Crawford in Amen, beginning in 1986 at the age of 41. As the wise and compassionate preacher, Reverend Crawford brought warmth and depth to the show, embodying a spiritual leader who faced challenges with unwavering faith. Off-screen, Avery's career was filled with highs and lows. Though he found fame in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he often struggled with being typecast, limiting his opportunities. His personal life was marked by loneliness. Though married to Barbara Avery, their relationship was strained by long periods of separation due to his work. They never had children, something that reportedly haunted him in his later years. Despite his success, Avery battled severe health problems, including diabetes and heart disease. He underwent open-heart surgery in December 2013, but complications arose, and he passed away on December 31, 2013, at the age of 68. Franklyn Seales played Lorenzo Hollingsworth in Amen, 1986, at the age of 34, portraying a charming and ambitious young man eager to succeed. A classically trained Juilliard actor with immense talent, he should have had a thriving career, but Hollywood's reluctance to embrace openly gay actors in the 1980s severely limited his opportunities. He was often overlooked for leading roles, and his career never reached the heights it should have. Unlike many of his colleagues, he never married and had no children, living much of his life in quiet seclusion. In the late 1980s, he was diagnosed with AIDS, a devastating illness that carried enormous stigma at the time. As his health declined, he withdrew from public life, suffering alone as opportunities disappeared and friends distanced themselves out of fear. His final years were marked by immense physical pain and emotional isolation, as he battled both his illness and the harsh reality of being forgotten. He passed away on May 14, 1990, at the age of 37 due to complications from AIDS. Richard Foronjy portrayed C.J. Wiggins in Amen, joining the show in 1987 at the age of 50. His character, a streetwise and resilient man, reflected Foronjy's own tough upbringing. Before acting, he lived a life on the fringes of the law, spending time in prison for theft before reinventing himself. Though he carved out a career in Hollywood with roles in Serpico and Midnight Run, his criminal past was a stain that never quite washed away. Hollywood's rejection weighed heavily on him, leaving him bitter in his later years. His personal life was equally stormy. His marriages were brief and unsuccessful, and he was estranged from his children, who resented his past mistakes. He spent his final years in obscurity, struggling with financial difficulties and declining health. On May 19, 2024, he passed away at the age of 86 due to natural causes. Though he had fought to redeem himself, the ghosts of his past lingered until the very end, casting a shadow over his legacy. John Hancock played Marshall Whitaker in Amen, starting in 1986 at the age of 45. Marshall was a dedicated and hard-working man, known for his unwavering sense of duty, but Hancock's own life was marred by struggles. He had initially found success in theater but faced rejection in Hollywood, where he was often overlooked for major roles. His financial instability put a strain on his marriage to Valerie, leading to a painful divorce. His only daughter, Camille, resented his absence, and their relationship remained fractured. Plagued by self-doubt, Hancock turned to alcohol, which only deepened his depression. His health declined rapidly due to years of stress, poor diet, and heavy drinking. On October 12, 1992, he suffered a fatal heart attack at the age of 51, alone in his apartment, his career and life cut short before he could achieve the recognition he had long sought. Raymond St. Jacques played Jason Adderley in Amen, beginning in 1986 at age 56. Jason was an influential and sophisticated figure, much like St. Jacques himself, but behind his confident public persona was a life filled with secrecy and sadness. He was one of the first black actors to break into mainstream Hollywood, yet he faced constant discrimination. Forced to hide his sexuality in an era of deep homophobia, he lived a double life, sacrificing love and companionship to protect his career. His activism for racial justice became his solace, but he often felt isolated, unable to trust those around him. In 1990, he was diagnosed with lymphoma, a disease he initially refused to acknowledge. By the time he sought treatment, it was too late. He passed away on August 27, 1990, at 60, alone and largely forgotten by an industry that never fully embraced him, leaving behind a legacy that deserved more recognition. Whitman Mayo portrayed Swifty in Amen, joining in 1991 at age 61. Swifty was a humorous, laid-back character, a contrast to Mayo's off-screen hardships. His early success in Sanford and Son brought him fame, but he struggled financially due to bad investments and a lack of stable work in later years. He married 3 times, but each relationship ended in turmoil, with accusations of infidelity and neglect. His children, hurt by his emotional distance, had little contact with him in his later years. Despite health problems, including severe arthritis and diabetes, he kept working, refusing to retire out of financial necessity. By the late 1990s, Hollywood had largely forgotten him, and he lived modestly, teaching acting to make ends meet. On May 22, 2001, at the age of 70, he died from a heart attack, his passing barely making headlines, a tragic end for a man who had once brought joy to millions. William Windom played Nick St. Nicholas in Amen, joining in 1990 at age 67. Nick was a witty and charming character, much like Windom himself, yet his life was filled with personal disappointments. A respected character actor, he worked steadily but never reached the superstardom he had hoped for. He married 5 times, but each marriage ended in heartache, as his commitment to his career always came before his family. His children struggled to maintain a connection with him, and in his later years, he found himself increasingly isolated. Despite his professional success, he never felt truly fulfilled, haunted by missed opportunities. In his final years, he withdrew from public life, suffering from declining health and a growing sense of regret. On August 16, 2012, he died from congestive heart failure at 88, surrounded not by loved ones, but by the echoes of a life spent chasing a dream that always seemed just out of reach. Richard Roundtree played Sergeant Burke in Amen in 1989 at the age of 47, portraying a no-nonsense police officer dedicated to justice. Best known for his groundbreaking role in Shaft, 1971, he became a cultural icon, yet Hollywood continuously typecast him, limiting his career opportunities. Despite his success, financial troubles plagued him, forcing him to take on roles beneath his talent. He married Mary Jane Grant in 1963, and they had 5 children, but the pressures of his career led to their divorce in 1973. He battled breast cancer in 1993, undergoing a mastectomy, a rare and deeply personal struggle for a man in the public eye. Later in life, he continued working despite declining health, making sporadic appearances in film and television to stay financially afloat. His final years were marked by pain and exhaustion as pancreatic cancer spread aggressively. He passed away on October 24, 2023, at the age of 81, leaving behind a legacy of trailblazing work but also years of quiet suffering and struggle. Earl Boen played Dr. Carter in Amen, joining in 1988 at the age of 47. Dr. Carter was a man of wisdom and care, always willing to extend a helping hand. But Boen, though respected, lived a life riddled with personal battles. He found love early, marrying Carol Keene, a fellow actress, but their union was overshadowed by his career obsession. Carol, longing for children, was devastated when Boen refused, unwilling to sacrifice his ambitions. Their marriage dissolved in quiet bitterness, and she remarried quickly, leaving him to drown in his solitude. As his career flourished, his personal life crumbled. He threw himself into work, taking every role he could, but the loneliness crept in. When he was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2022, the fight was brief. On January 5, 2023, at 81, he passed away, his body giving into the disease, a tragic end for a man who had spent his life playing wise men but had failed to find wisdom in his own choices. Fran Bennett portrayed Judge Walters in Amen in 1987 at the age of 50, bringing dignity and strength to the role. A classically trained actress, she dedicated much of her career to theater, where she commanded the stage with power and grace. Despite her talent, Hollywood often relegated her to minor roles, undervaluing her immense ability. She never married and had no children, instead immersing herself in acting and teaching, though loneliness became a persistent companion in her later years. As time went on, she withdrew from the entertainment industry, finding solace in a quieter life but also struggling with isolation. In her final years, her health declined, but she kept her struggles private, passing away quietly on September 12, 2021, at the age of 84 due to natural causes. Though she lived a life of artistic dedication, she remained largely unrecognized by an industry that failed to truly appreciate her contributions. Eric Christmas played Reverend Dittamore in Amen in 1989 at the age of 73, portraying a kindly reverend with warmth and humor. A veteran character actor with a career spanning decades, he appeared in countless films and television shows, often in small but memorable roles. Despite his long career, he never found major stardom and worked tirelessly to support his family. He married Margaret, and while they remained together, financial struggles and the instability of an acting career placed enormous strain on their relationship. In his later years, he suffered from chronic illness and memory loss, making it difficult to continue working. His declining health left him increasingly frail, and by the time he retired, he had faded from public recognition. He passed away on July 22, 2000, at the age of 84 due to natural causes, having spent his final years in quiet obscurity despite a lifetime devoted to his craft. Nell Carter played Bess Richards, a vibrant and dynamic character, first appearing in Amen in 1986 at 38. Bess Richards was full of life, a stark contrast to the personal tragedies Nell Carter endured. Behind her infectious laugh was a lifetime of suffering. She had been sexually assaulted as a teenager, a trauma that haunted her for decades. She struggled with addiction to cocaine, using it as an escape from the pain of her past. She married twice, both marriages ending in heartache. Her second husband, Roger LaRocque, left her after only 2 years, unable to handle her spiraling depression and health issues. Though she adopted 2 sons and had a daughter, her struggles made it difficult for her to be the mother she longed to be. As her diabetes worsened, she lost control over her weight and mobility, leading to financial struggles as medical bills piled up. Alone in her home, her body finally gave out on January 23, 2003, at 54, succumbing to complications from diabetes. Ray Combs played Harold Buckner in Amen in 1988 at the age of 32, bringing boundless energy and enthusiasm to the role. A talented comedian, he rose to national fame as the host of Family Feud, but his career took a devastating turn when he was abruptly fired in 1994. Unable to recover professionally, he spiraled into financial ruin, declaring bankruptcy as he struggled to support his 6 children. His marriage to Debbie Combs, once stable, collapsed under the weight of his depression and mounting debt. A severe car accident in 1996 left him with spinal injuries, further exacerbating his emotional distress. Admitted to a psychiatric facility after a failed suicide attempt, he spent his final days in deep despair. On June 2, 1996, at the age of 40, he was found hanged in his hospital room, a heartbreaking end to a once promising career that had been shattered by misfortune and personal demons. Paula Kelly portrayed Leona, a graceful and talented character, beginning Amen in 1986 at 44. Leona was elegance personified, yet Paula Kelly's real life was anything but glamorous. A gifted dancer and actress, she shined in Sweet Charity and Night Court, but her career was plagued by the industry's indifference to black actresses. Her struggles extended beyond professional disappointments. Her personal life was equally turbulent. She married Don Chaffee, a British director much older than her, but their union was marred by long periods of separation and emotional distance. Their only daughter, the product of brief happiness, grew up largely disconnected from Paula's pain. As Hollywood turned its back on her, she found herself jobless and ill, diagnosed with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. The vibrant performer who once lit up the stage could barely breathe, each step a reminder of her body's betrayal. Confined to her home, struggling for every breath, she died on February 8, 2020, at 77. John Witherspoon played the bailiff in Amen in 1988 at the age of 46, infusing the role with humor and charm. A beloved comedian and actor, he became widely known for his roles in Friday and the Wayans Brothers, yet his path to success was anything but easy. Early in his career, he struggled financially, performing in small comedy clubs to make ends meet. He married Angela Robinson, and they had 2 sons, but his constant touring kept him away from home, leading to regrets about missed time with his family. Later in life, he suffered from diabetes and heart disease but continued working relentlessly, fearing financial instability. Despite worsening health, he refused to slow down, often performing stand-up just days before his death. On October 29, 2019, at the age of 77, he died suddenly from a heart attack at home, leaving behind a legacy of laughter but also a life marked by years of unrelenting work and personal sacrifice. Richard Roat played Michael Stevens, a charming and intelligent character, joining Amen in 1988 at 55. Michael Stevens was admired for his wit and charisma, a sharp contrast to Roat's own life, where his charm masked years of internal torment. He had steady work in television, appearing in Seinfeld, Friends, and Dallas, but always in minor roles, never quite achieving the stardom he desperately craved. The realization that he was forever a supporting player led to bitterness, and he withdrew from the industry. His marriage, which once brought him happiness, became strained as he descended into self-loathing. He and his wife never had children, a regret he carried in silence. In his later years, dementia crept in, robbing him of his memories, leaving him disoriented and afraid. The man once known for his quick wit could no longer hold a conversation. Isolated and trapped in a body that was failing him, he suffered a fatal heart attack on August 5, 2022, at 89. Janet MacLachlan portrayed Judge, a strong and principled character, beginning her role in Amen in 1988 at the age of 55. Her character stood as a beacon of integrity, unwavering in the face of injustice, yet in her personal life, she faced battles far graver than any courtroom drama. Despite a promising career with roles in Sounder, 1972, and The Rockford Files, she was perpetually typecast, never breaking into the mainstream as she had dreamed. The rejection chipped away at her confidence, and as opportunities dwindled, so did her financial stability. Never marrying, she lived alone, her solitude weighing heavier with each passing year. She had no children to care for her in old age, only distant relatives who rarely visited. In her later years, she suffered from severe depression, exacerbated by ailing health and financial insecurity. Struggling with cardiovascular disease, she faced mounting medical bills that left her destitute. On October 11, 2010, at the age of 77, she succumbed to complications from the illness. Jason Bernard played Dexter Rollins in Amen in 1987 at the age of 49, embodying a character full of charm and ambition. A seasoned actor, Bernard had spent years navigating Hollywood, securing roles in film and television but never quite reaching the stardom he longed for. Despite his success in supporting roles in Flamingo Road, Herman's Head, and Liar Liar, he often faced frustration over being overlooked for leading roles. His personal life was equally troubled. His marriage to Deborah Bernard collapsed under the weight of career pressures, financial instability, and emotional distance. Their only son, Marcus, struggled with his father's absence, leading to estrangement that deeply affected Bernard. As his career reached new heights in the mid-1990s, his health declined. Already suffering from hypertension and high stress, he suffered a fatal heart attack on October 16, 1996, at the age of 58, a devastating end to a career that had been filled with both promise and struggle. John Ingle played Judge Stoneham in Amen in 1990 at the age of 62, portraying a stern yet fair-minded judge. Unlike many of his peers, Ingle spent most of his early life as a drama teacher, mentoring future Hollywood stars before pursuing acting full-time. His late start in the industry meant years of financial hardship, during which his wife, Grace Lynn Martin, supported their family. Raising 5 children on an uncertain income strained their marriage, though they remained committed. When he finally found steady work in the 1980s and 1990s, it seemed as though his struggles were behind him. However, just as he enjoyed newfound recognition through roles in General Hospital and other series, he was diagnosed with cancer. He continued to work through his illness, refusing to let it define his final years. Eventually, the disease overtook him, and he passed away on September 16, 2012, at the age of 84. Moses Gunn portrayed Benjamin Tillman in Amen in 1989 at the age of 60, bringing depth and authority to the role. A powerful stage actor, Gunn had made a name for himself in Shakespearean theater in films like Shaft and Ragtime, yet he continuously faced racial barriers that limited his mainstream Hollywood career. His journey was one of perseverance, but it came at a cost. His marriage to Gwen Gunn was long-lasting, but financial instability and the pressures of show business created tensions. Their son, Justin, fell into substance abuse, a struggle that caused years of anguish for Gunn, who tried desperately to support him. Battling lifelong health issues, including severe asthma, Gunn was often forced to turn down roles due to his condition. His illness worsened in late 1993, and on December 16 of that year, he succumbed to complications from an asthma attack at the age of 64. Who's your favorite character in Amen? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.